What's up, NZers?
Hi!
And welcome back to yet another reaction video. This time we're going to be checking out the story of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. And the reason we're doing this one is because it was hotly requested in one of our other reaction videos.
Both on Instagram and in our comment section, this one has been requested time and time again.
Yep, so if you want to talk to us directly and maybe drop a request via DMs, then just definitely join us on Instagram and follow us there. And
I will just say though that the Instagram
starting to become overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, so thank you for the response, guys.
I will get to it, but it might take a while.
It's just taking a little longer than first
Like
anticipated.
I have to set time aside to go through. And I love chatting with you guys. You're all amazing.
Yep, so we love you guys, but let's get straight into this one.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Oh, sounds scary. Wait, is this a tearjerker?
I don't know, I've never seen it.
Sam.
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
Oh, you guys know what I'm like.
I have no idea what's coming.
Every soldier is recognized for his heroic actions. Indeed, one of the countless tragedies of war is that the bodies of many soldiers are never even identified. On August 3rd, 1956, 3 years after the end of the Korean War, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill to select and pay tribute to the unknown soldiers of the Korean War and World War II. These soldiers would be buried in the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery. The Tomb of the Unknowns was created in response to the mass casualties of World War I. The idea of honoring the unknown dead, of which there were so many in World War I, began in Great Britain in 1920. Then, in March 1921,
Oh yeah, I've seen that
the
one.
U.S. Congress approved
That's
a
a
plan
famous
to
cemetery,
return
yeah.
the body
All the
of an
crosses.
unknown American soldier from the war and bury him with full honors in a tomb to be constructed at the Memorial Amphitheater
Wow, look at all that.
in
all the
Arlington
flowers.
National Cemetery. On Memorial Day, 1921, 4 unknown soldiers were exhumed from 4 World War I American cemeteries in France.
And brought back.
They were placed in 4 identical caskets and set before a highly decorated veteran of that war, U.S. Army Sergeant Edward F. Younger. Sergeant Younger ceremonially selected 1 casket. He later spoke of his decision.
I was left alone in the chapel. There were 4 coffins, all unmarked and unnamed. The one that I placed the roses on would be the one brought home and placed in the National Shrine. I walked around the coffins 3 times. Then suddenly I stopped. What caused me to stop, I don't know. It was as though something had pulled me. I placed the roses on the coffin in front of me. I can still remember the odd feeling that I had, standing there alone.
The chosen unknown was transported to the United States aboard the USS Olympia. Those remaining were interred in the Meuse-Argonne Cemetery, France. The selected unknown lay in state at the Capitol Rotunda until midnight on November 10th, 1921. On November 11th, Armistice Day, the casket of that unknown soldier was carried from the Rotunda to Arlington National Cemetery under a military escort.
So it was a real
Behind the
process.
caisson bearing the flag-draped casket walked President Harding, Vice President Coolidge, Chief Justice Taft, and the other justices of the Supreme Court. Members of the Cabinet, Senate, and House of Representatives, generals, and other distinguished officers from America's wars and recipients of the Medal of Honor.
Man, it's a really big deal.
President Harding officiated at the interment ceremonies at the Memorial Amphitheater at Arlington National Cemetery. He conferred upon the unknown soldier the Medal of Honor and the Distinguished Service Cross. Representatives of foreign governments allied with the U.S. in World War I participated as well, bestowing upon the unknown their own highest military awards.
Wow.
Far out.
So the
The
family
United
didn't
States
even know if it was
reciprocated this gesture,
No.
honoring an unknown soldier from nations of France, Great Britain, Belgium, Italy, and Romania
That's a really good
with
point.
the Medal of Honor. In the history of the Medal of Honor, these are the only 5 instances in which the award was presented to a foreign soldier. After World War II, plans were made for the selection and burial of an unknown from that war. But fighting in Korea broke out before the selection process had begun, and the decision was made to postpone until a more appropriate time. World War II and the Korean War were selected for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns.
That
The
was
final
before the monument
selection
was
of the
built.
unknown from the Korean War took place on May 15th, 1958. All of the unknown war dead from that war had been buried in the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. In that place, 4 candidates for burial in the Tomb of the Unknowns were placed in identical caskets, draped with American flags. Master Sergeant Ned Lyle, a recipient of the Distinguished Service Cross
Had to choose
for
again?
heroic action in Korea, was designated to make the final selection.
Wow.
But why do they
He
have to
placed a
do that?
wreath of blue and white carnations on one casket and saluted the remains of the soldier inside. The selection of the World War II unknown took place 11 days later aboard the USS Canberra. Earlier stages of the selection process had resulted in 1 remaining candidate from the European Theater of Operations and 1 candidate from the Pacific Theater. Hospital Corpsman First Class William R. Charette, recipient of the Medal of Honor for actions in the Korean War, made the final selection. The selected unknown, along with the unknown from the Korean War, arrived in Washington on May 28, 1958. They lay in state in the Capitol Rotunda until 1 p.m. on May 30th. As the procession moved toward Arlington National Cemetery, the 2 caissons, each carrying 1 unknown, traveled side by side. When they reached the cemetery, they shifted into a column led by the caisson bearing the World War II unknown soldier.
Oh, so they're all gathered from all the
As the
different floors.
caissons entered the cemetery, 20 jet fighters and bombers passed overhead, with 1 plane missing from each formation.
What sort of plane is that?
The casket of the World War II unknown soldier was placed in front of President Eisenhower, and the Korean War unknown soldier in front of Vice President Nixon. The Marine Band played the national anthem, and then a bugler sounded attention 3 times. After a long moment of silence, President Eisenhower placed a Medal of Honor on each casket. The unknowns of World War II and the Korean War were interred in the plaza beside their World War I comrade. The tomb sarcophagus was placed above the grave of the unknown soldier of World War I
Yeah.
in April 1931. The sarcophagus is constructed of 7 rectangular pieces of white marble, together weighing 79 tons.
Whoa.
On the west panel of the sarcophagus, facing the amphitheater, are the words, "Here rests, in honored glory, an American soldier, known but to God." On the east panel, facing the Capitol, 3 Greek figures have been sculpted. On the left stands Peace, holding a dove in one hand. On the right stands Valor, bearing a broken sword in his hands. In the center stands Victory, holding hands with peace while extending an olive branch to valor.
It's quite
The
symbolic,
north and
eh?
south panels present a total of 6 inverted wreaths, each representing a major campaign of World War I. West of the sarcophagus are the crypts of unknowns from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Those 3 graves are marked with white marble slabs that lie flush with the plaza. Since April 6, 1948, the tomb of the unknown soldier has been guarded 24 hours a day,
Wow.
365 days a year,
Wow.
regardless
Why's
of
it
weather.
got it?
Yeah, even through the night.
In blazing sun, freezing snow, and even in the face of hurricanes,
Wow.
the Sentinels continue their watch.
Whoa.
Why's it got it?
The Sentinels, members of the 3rd Infantry, or Old Guard, are famous for the precision of their march and changing of the guard. The Sentinel marches 21 steps across a black mat, past the crypts of each unknown. He then makes a crisp 90-degree turn to face east for 21 seconds. He then makes another 90-degree turn, facing north for 21 seconds. A crisp shoulder arms movement places the rifle on the shoulder nearest the visitors to signify that the Sentinel stands between the tomb and any threat. After that moment, the Sentinel paces 21 steps north, turns, and repeats the process. Every hour during the winter, and every half hour during summer daylight hours, the Sentinels conduct the changing of the guard ceremony. As the new Sentinel approaches the relief commander, slowly and with great precision, conducts a white glove inspection of the Sentinel's weapon. The 2 then march to the center of the mat, where the active Sentinel stops his walk, and all 3 men salute the tomb.
Wow.
Whoa.
The relief commander instructs the active Sentinel, "Pass on your orders." The Sentinel replies, "Post and orders remain as directed." The relieving Sentinel responds, "Orders acknowledged." The relieving Sentinel then steps into position at the center of the black mat. The relief commander and relieved Sentinel exit, and the new Sentinel begins his march. The unknown soldiers serve to remind us that not all actions of valor are witnessed and recorded in war.
True.
We do not know the stories of these men, but we know they gave their lives in a war they did not start to protect the freedom of people who would never know their names. They demonstrate the courage and heroism of every man and woman who goes into combat in service of their nation. They will face threats we can hardly imagine in an attempt to eliminate the dangers that are posed to the men in the trench beside them.
Wow.
Wow.
That was intense. Really
Wow.
intense. But I think with that older generation, you know, like the World War II, I think they called them the golden generation or the greatest generation. It's the greatest generation that those soldiers are known as. I think that you'd probably find that if you talk to any of them, you know, if you could talk to them, they would probably say, we don't want to be recognized. You know, they were that. They had
Humble.
so much humility, but yet so much bravery to sacrifice themselves for the freedoms of their country. You know?
Yeah, they were incredibly brave.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Well, I don't understand why they have to guard it.
I think it's more a respect thing than
Yeah.
a guarding
It's
thing.
like a symbolic
It's
thing.
like-
So you see that they gathered them up. They got one from World War One, and then they chose others from other wars and brought them there. Also, what I kind of got confused because I saw that it said that he arrests an American soldier, so I thought it was just the story of one soldier, one unknown soldier. I didn't realize that it was a group, like, you know, all the soldiers that had never been identified, because I just didn't think that there would be.
No, I think it symbolizes. There's only
Yeah,
a
so
certain
he
handful
symbolizes
there.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a few unknowns from each war that they were gathering.
Yeah.
And the interesting part for me was that they weren't just American soldiers.
Yeah, true, some French and
They were
stuff.
actually from different countries as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like a representative of the unknown soldier altogether.
Yeah.
That died without recognition and without knowing their names or who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, that's a massive show of respect.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that one was on a bit of a different note to our other ones.
Yeah.
We still enjoyed it. We still learnt something.
Definitely learned something.
Yeah, so it was full of facts, eh?
Yeah.
And now you know all about the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers.
It'd be cool to go and visit it and to see the changing of the guard.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I bet it'd be quite like a powerful moment.
I bet you it's quite solemn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very quiet.
Yeah.
And anyway, guys, if you like that one, please smash the like button. And as always, comment down below. Subscribe if you want to see more. Smash the post notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And we will see you in the next one. See ya!
Bye.